If you want to spritz things up, you need to try this cocktail right here. Let me show you how to make a Bourbon Berry Spritz. Welcome back to the channel. I'm Matt, I'm the Whiskey Nerd, and like I said, this week we are spritzing things up with a Bourbon Berry Spritz because berries are coming back into season here in Ireland, and I thought great opportunity to make a nice, sweet, light and fruity cocktail that uses a very nice bourbon for making cocktails. This is the Basil Hayden's bourbon. If you want to see a review of this, we did it earlier on this week where we reviewed this bourbon, but today it is all about the cocktail, and this is a Bourbon Berry Spritz. Like I said, it's very simple, straightforward enough cocktail, just a bit of bourbon, some lemon juice, a bit of sugar syrup to add a bit of sweetness, and some nice berries. I've got about 5 raspberries there, and about 5 or 6 blueberries there as well, just to add a bit of kind of fruity flavor, just to add a nice kind of fruity berry flavor to whiskey. But if you like blackberries or raspberries as well, you can use different kind of flavors in there just to make whatever you like. The important part is just to not overpower the bourbon on the back end. That's why we're only using a few berries, just because if we use too much, it becomes more like a fruit juice cocktail. This is still going to be a bourbon forward cocktail. I'll also be using a little bit of mint in there just to add a bit of extra kind of floral fragrant flavor, as well as the fact that the Basil Hayden's bourbon does have a fair amount of rye in it, which has this kind of herbal spiciness, and that works, I think, really well with the berries and with a little bit of mint. But that's enough talking about the cocktail. I think we're going to make it. So we're going to get our shaker tin and we're going to muddle up our berries. Like I said, we've got here 5 raspberries, and we've got 7 blueberries. Just pop them into there, and then we're going to muddle them really quickly just to get all that juices and all that kind of flavor out of those berries. Okay, I can tell that it is already really nice and flavorful, but we've got to add in the rest of our ingredients. We're going to start off with our bourbon, and we're going to go in with 45 ml of our Basil Hayden's bourbon. You can go in with whatever bourbon you like, but I think this is nice and just adds a nice bit of flavor without kind of dominating the cocktail. You can still taste the bourbon, but it's not the only thing you can taste. So that there was 45 ml or 1.5 ounces of Basil Hayden's bourbon. Next up, a bit of lemon juice. Going to go in 15 ml or half an ounce. Not a huge amount. This is freshly squeezed lemon juice. We just want to kind of cut through the sugary sweetness from those berries and just add a little bit of extra zing, a little bit of extra flavor to our cocktail. Then it's 10 ml of sugar syrup. Again, just to keep things balanced, keep things nice and sweet and not going too tart. Pop that in there. Then we're going to grab a nice rock of ice, add that to our shaker tin, and then add our mint. We didn't add in the mint at the start because if we muddled it down, you get all these kind of you get all the little bits of mint into the final cocktail, which we don't want. So we're just going to shake it up with the ice, get that flavor into the cocktail without getting all the little bits. So we're going to go to 1, 2, 3 good sized kind of mint leaves, pop the lid on our shaker tin and shake it away for about 30 seconds. Okay, I think that is nicely chilled now, so I'm ready to strain out my cocktail. I'm going to be straining it out into a nice rocks glass that's been filled with ice because we want this to be a nice kind of long drink that you can really enjoy. If you want, you can double strain your cocktail, but I'm just going to single strain mine pretty tightly so I get a little bit of that pulp, but most of it is still caught by the strainer because I do want a little bit of the fruity pulp, the bits of fruit to get in there, but I don't want to be drinking seeds or anything like that in the cocktail. Just like that, just get all that nice cocktail into our glass, and then we're going to top it up with some sparkling water. You can use whatever sparkling water you want. I'm personally just using some San Pellegrino, who's at the store, just into there, just to give this a nice bit of effervescence, get a little bit more like that kind of easy to drink nature into the cocktail. And lastly, we're going to garnish it. We're going to garnish it up with kind of all the fruity elements that went into the cocktail. So we're going to go in with a slice of lemon, going to go in with a raspberry, 2 blueberries, and a little sprig of mint just into there, just so you have all those fruity flavors represented in the cocktail. And that right there is how I make a Bourbon Berry Spritz. Now real quick, before I taste this cocktail, if you're new here, scroll down, hit that thumbs up button, hit that subscribe button. I put out cocktail recipes featuring whiskey every Friday, and I put out whiskey reviews every Wednesday, including a review of the Basil Hayden's bourbon. So if you want to see that, make sure you hit subscribe. But now, let's taste this cocktail. Oh, that's lovely. It's lovely and light. You get the bourbon, You get the bourbon flavor coming through, you get the berries, you get the little bit of lemon juice, you get a little bit of mint as well when you bring it up to your mouth to taste it. You get the aromatics from those mint leaves coming through, the little bit of effervescence from topping it off with the sparkling water. Gets a little bit tingly, gets it as you bring it up, makes it easier to smell, makes it easier to taste those kind of flavors that you put into the cocktail. And like I said, it's not like overpowered or dominated in any direction. It's not overly bourbon, it's not overly berries, it's not overly citrus, it's not overly herbal and minty. It just has a nice balance with all of them. Very easy to drink as well. Like you can definitely make like a whole pitcher of this and people will really enjoy it. And I think I'm going to enjoy the rest of this cocktail and I will see you next time. Sláinte. And then we're going to top it up with some sparkling water.